How is everyone doing? This is Sit Down with Sniper episode 20, no, 32, 32. Today we got somebody crazy, someone who's been stirring up the Web3 world. So I want to introduce Spottie Wifi. How you doing, brother?
I'm great, man. Glad to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. So, we got a lot of topics today. I want to jump into you being the people's punk. You just jumped into a new ENS name. I mean, you've talked with Snoop. We got Doodles. We got Cool Cats. So we got a bunch of things we're going to jump into. First, I just want to basically start off with, when did you start your crypto NFT journey? What year was this?
Crypto, I started buying at the end of 2017. I had really bad timing, actually. I was buying right before it crashed. So that was a rough entry. But I didn't sell, even after it crashed. I kept buying more over the bear market. And then in January of last year, January 2021, that's when I started hearing about NFTs. Started hearing about NBA Top Shot first before anything else. And that was on Twitter. So I saw a couple friends talking about Top Shot on Twitter, started collecting NBA Top Shot moments. And that was my gateway. From there, I started meeting guys that owned CryptoPunks and had, other NFTs that I was becoming familiar with, like Art Blocks and Fidenzas, things like that. But it all really started from Top Shot last year.
Yeah, so I mean that adds to the list of guests, including myself, that started with Top Shot. Top Shot was definitely a great entry, not only for me, but it sounds like for a lot of other people. Now, whenever it comes to being a punk, you've had your punk for a while now. Do you remember what the floor was whenever you got your punk?
Man, I paid 27 ETH for mine. That was about $44,000. That was on February 23rd of 2021. The floor was not much lower than that. My punk was very close to the floor. I don't remember the exact number, but it was around there.
So I have to ask, why did you go the punk versus the ape? Was an ape ever even, I guess, a thought in your mind, or were they not at the same level of a punk at the time?
Man, there were no apes at that time. The apes dropped. I think the apes' first tweet was April 17th. I think I know that date because I released my first song the day before, the first time I saw them tweet. Like when I tell you I bought my punk and I branded it, I gave it a name and I gave it a backstory and I started making music with it. Nobody was doing that. This was like pre-apes. Once the apes did launch, I missed the mint, actually. I didn't mint any apes. I remember the night that they minted out because Pranksy tweeted about them. At that time, Pranksy was like, if he tweeted about a project, it was like a big rush to go get that project. I have a few NFTs that I minted just because Pranksy talked about them. For whatever reason, I did not jump in right when Pranksy tweeted about the apes. I wish I had, but I bought. The apes finished minting on April 30th of 2021. I believe that was the date. I minted my first. I'm sorry. I bought my first ape for 0.65 ETH from Pranksy on, I think, May 23rd. So I was part of a second wave, I guess, or a first wave of people that didn't mint but bought. And I'm proud to say I was one of the only punks. I was one of the only crypto punks that didn't mint but bought into the yacht club that early of May of last year.
Okay. So, and that's what's even crazier is because fast forward all this time later, you get to play at Ape Fest, and we'll talk about that as well. So now that you have the punk, your Spottie Wifi, when did this whole rapping come into play? Were you a rapper before the crypto punk? Did the crypto punk inspire you to create this rap? What really brought that to the surface?
Yeah, it's both of those things. I was doing music full time years ago, like 2006 through 2012. You know, I've been in rap groups, I've been in bands, I've been a solo artist, I've toured, you know, I've opened for big artists, played on big stages, festivals, you know, all that. But I stepped away from it a decade ago because it just wasn't paying the bills. You know, this was like that era of 2006 to 2012. When I started, we were pressing CDs, you know, selling CDs at shows. MySpace was becoming big. By the end of that era, it was like SoundCloud, you know, and downloading music had become huge, and nobody was selling or buying CDs anymore, you know. So it was just in the blog era. So I got a lot of blog love. You know, I had some good reviews, some great opportunities, good looks, but that doesn't pay the bills, you know. So I took I took a day job in 2012, put out one last album at the end of 2012, and then I stepped away from music. When I got my CryptoPunk, I got re-inspired because what I saw was I had a built-in community. You know, there's thousands of CryptoPunk owners who were passionate about the project, but not very many of them were doing anything creative with their CryptoPunks. You know, there was a big question mark about the copyright license, if we even had permission to use the CryptoPunk artwork for branding or merchandise, things like that. And of course, that's what made the Bored Ape Yacht Club so revolutionary, is when they launched their project, they said, you can use this ape if you own it for anything. You know, that attracted a lot of creative people and content creators to become Bored Apes. But the CryptoPunks didn't have the same thing going for them. But when I saw like people are following me on Twitter just because I have this profile picture, that made me think like a musician again. Because as a musician, you're always trying to figure out, how do I find my audience? How do I get people to listen to my music? And I just said, you know what? If a CryptoPunk, all 10,000 CryptoPunks are historic. But if I do something that nobody's ever done before with my CryptoPunk, then what does that say about my CryptoPunk? That's just going to increase its value. So that's really, that combination of observations was really what got me inspired. And then once I said I'm going to give him a name, it was like the spots need to be part of his name, because the spots are what make my CryptoPunk rare, actually. There's only 124 punks that have spots. Why the hell? How could my punk be a floor punk? It doesn't make any sense, you know, and it's because people were hating on the spots. They don't, and this still happens. And I said, you know, that's a chip on my shoulder. You know, everybody can relate to that. Everybody has something about them physically, personality wise, you know, whatever background, how they grew up, that the world will point and laugh, or the world will say like, that's a flaw, that's a defect, that's a bug. But that's what makes you you. So that you have to embrace that. And that's what the name Spottie Wifi is about. That's what this character was really inspired by in the beginning.
So, I mean, that's pretty sick. So I feel like, you know, whenever you get on Twitter, I see you on there a lot, and you're always promoting your own stuff, and it's super sick. How do you feel about the trolls being on Twitter, the people saying you can't rap? Does that affect you at all? Does the words on Twitter, does that ever mean anything to you? Does Spottie Wifi ever go home, like turn off the computer and be like, damn, that shit kind of hit differently, you know, seeing people say it? Or do you just use all of that energy as fuel to just continue your career?
It's definitely fuel, you know, like I've said it in songs, you know, haters give me the motivation, you know. The thing is, as you experience success, of course, people are going to throw stones. You know, that comes with the territory. But first off, I don't really give much weight to most people's taste anyways. You know what I mean? Like I'm a little bit old school. Most of the music I listen to isn't even like current rap anyways. So like, you know, you might consider yourself a rap aficionado in 2022, and I'm definitely I might not be making music for you. So and that's fine, you know. You know, it's also like, I know that I have supporters. I get so much love from people that I can't overlook that. There are times where you see somebody hating and it's like, oh man, fuck, I'm gonna start clapping back, right? But you also have to remember, like, I have so many people that show me love, so many people that support me. And I think I have supporters for different reasons. Like, I have some people that they love my music, I have other people that they love what I stand for as an indie artist, trying to revolutionize the music industry. I have other people that love what I'm doing in terms of branding and intellectual property, using my NFT, as an entrepreneur. So it's just different things for different people. And at the end of the day, it's like, I've been blessed in the past year to experience things that I never dreamed of. I thought music was in the rearview mirror for me as a career. I thought it was over for me. I've been able to like record at Death Row Records, do songs with Bun B, Jim Jones, dope artists, have conversations with Timbaland, Wyclef, I performed at 8 Fest. I came off stage and Talib Kweli told me he was feeling my performance and that he loves what I'm doing. Things like that, where it's like, do I really care what NFT influencer 4457.eth says about me on Twitter? Like, no, I definitely don't.
No, I mean, that's good to know, because I mean, you're very out there right now. I would say for me, I mean, I don't follow many people, but whenever it comes to punks, I don't know a lot of punks that have really like made it their identity to the extent that you have. And people might think that you're a great rapper, a bad rapper, but I think one thing that they cannot knock is that you're a great businessman and you've done a very good job at promoting yourself and putting yourself out there. So that, I mean, I definitely respect that. I do want to talk about your pinned tweet on your Twitter. I did listen to it, and for those that haven't, you can go check it out. It's pinned to the top. But it was Snoop Dogg complimenting you. And, you have the Spottie vinyl collection. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the first mint in the vinyl collection was around August 4th of 2021. And you have like songs like I'm Spottie, which dropped August 18th, 2021. And I could be wrong on those dates, but I say those dates to say, you've been doing this not only in real life for a long time, but you've been doing it in Web3, in these NFTs for a long time. 2021 is before a lot of people started, and what people would consider OG. But what does it feel like to get compliments from Snoop Dogg, to be a rapper and the people's punk for this long and be able to perform at things like Ape Fest? What does that mean to you, and how does it feel?
Man, it's amazing, super, super validating and rewarding. I think what you're referring to is the I'm Spottie collection includes 3 music videos that we launched on August 4th. Those 3 are one of ones, and they're in the same smart contract collection. And then the full album and the other 2,000 NFTs dropped on August 18th. They sold out instantly. If you listen to that Spaces conversation between me and Snoop, he says there that basically I inspired what he is doing with his team in music NFTs, because when I sold those NFTs in August, I raised the same amount of revenue as I would have raised if I had 40 or 50 million streams on Spotify. At that time, I had a few thousand streams on Spotify, like almost none, So I became a case study for the 1,000 fan theory. The 1,000 fan theory is the idea that you don't need millions of fans, you need 1,000 fans. If you can sell $100 worth of tickets or merchandise to 1,000 fans every year, then you're earning 6 figures as an artist, every year. I sold those NFTs in August to 700 fans, not even 1,000, so to hear somebody, and I said at the time, wait until somebody with a bigger platform catches on to this, because if I could do this as just me, what can somebody bigger do? And Snoop was that guy. That's what's really powerful about that conversation to me, is because I knew something like that would happen, but I thought it would take years. And in reality, it took months. I sold that album in August. I had a song with Bun B out by like October and November. I was sitting in Snoop Dogg's studio, the mothership, at his compound in February. You know, like that was crazy. It was how quickly it all happened. Snoop Dogg, you know, I went out there, I flew out there, I became friends with his son Champ, recorded some music with those guys, talked to them about the business side of what I was doing, the way I set up my NFT drops and things like that. And they kind of adapted the model that I did, and they did it with Snoop Dogg for his new album, and they sold $44 million worth of NFTs in 1 week. So, and now what do you see? You see, you know, Snoop Dogg bringing in Eminem. You know, you see Timbaland doing the same thing that we did with the CryptoPunk, but doing it with his ape. So it's just like somebody I was talking to talked about it as like a coaching tree. And I think that's a super dope way to think about it. It's like, you know, you could say whatever you want about me personally, my points of view, you know, my tweets, my music, whatever. But like on the music tip, like people know what you know, it's like, come on, man. It's like Belichick, bro. Let's go. Well, like who else? Who else are we talking about in terms of like opening up people's eyes and like showing them how to walk through the door?
I love that you're so like confident and so passionate about this, and I feel like that's what's gotten you so far alongside other stuff. How did you get into Ape Fest? How did you can you walk us through that by any chance?
Yeah, so I've had a great relationship with the founders of the apes from pretty early on. You know, when I bought my first ape in May of last year, I was quick to be loud and proud about the apes because I saw them organizing as a community in ways that the CryptoPunks were not and have not been able to do, you know. And a lot of CryptoPunks last year, they saw the apes as a threat and they saw them as inferior. You know, I'm interpreting what I saw, but you know, I definitely saw punks talking down about the apes. I saw punks saying like, "Oh, Spottie's in the Discord rolling around in the banana peels with the apes." Literally stuff like that. People online talking about how like, you know, Spottie basically saying like Spottie's a rapper, he belongs with the apes anyways, because they you know, I have a lot of love from the CryptoPunks, but I also have some people that are, you know, they throw shots. So anyways, I always stuck up for the apes. I bought more apes in June, and after they had their first auction at Sotheby's, they reached out to me and they said, "Would you like to perform a metaverse show in Decentraland? We have this riverboat casino that we built and we want to do a performance, a party after the Sotheby's auction." And that was the first time we really worked together on something official. It was an incredible thing that they even reached out to me. We made it happen. We did a fully VR, you know, totally animated VR performance. It's on my YouTube. You can watch it. And then when they did Ape Fest the first time, I went as a holder last year, October of 2021. I had a great time, and I DM'd, you know, some of the founders afterwards, and I was like, "Yo, if you're ever looking for somebody from the community to come in and perform, you know, I would love to be considered." When they announced the second Ape Fest, I got back in their DMs and I was just reaching out, you know, and Gordon really, he made it happen is what it seemed like to me, because Gordon got back to me right away. He was like, "Let me see what I can do. I'm going to stay on the team about this." And then it was Guy Osiri, who I guess really had the final call from what I understand. And Guy Osiri made it happen. They even built in a budget for me to invite Bun B and Jim Jones to come out on stage with me, which was crazy, you know, because like it's in New York City, bringing out Bun, bringing out Harlem, you know, bringing out Jim Jones from Harlem. Like, I don't know if everybody in the crowd even realizes what I did, you know, but like history will understand, like we held it down.
No, for sure. I mean, I don't think some people might not understand Jim Jones being brought out. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that is huge. That's huge. And I met Bun B in LA at the couple of Web3 events, and he's a very humble guy, very, very humble guy.
Yeah.
But you know,
they both are. Him and Jim, super cool dudes, man. Both.
Oh, I absolutely believe it. I believe it. And it's super cool that you were able to just bump shoulders and talk and communicate with these people, you know. you got this platform now, and you're the people's punk. Before we jump into some of the things that we see on Twitter from you, can you tell us where the name the people's punk came from? Who created it? Is that just something you made up? And why are you the people's punk, man? What makes you the people's punk?
Man, it's a couple things. I love the punks, but the punks are a little highbrow. They got their nose in the air sometimes. They're like at Christie's eating caviar, sipping champagne, things like that. And believe me, I'm more than comfortable in that setting. But at the same time, it's like I didn't come from like old money or anything like that, and I wasn't super. I just feel like I represent a different perspective with the punks, and I had really fortunate timing, and I acknowledged and I realized how fortunate I am and the privilege that I have, where I was even able to spend $44,000 on a CryptoPunk in February of last year, and just representing the hip hop, genre and the culture. It's like a unique thing, I think there are definitely people who think CryptoPunks are more in like the Christie's and Tiffany's and like that type of world, and that what I'm doing is maybe something that isn't what is perfect in their vision of a CryptoPunk brand, but I am the people's punk. And a lot of it stemmed from, it got competitive last year. Like last year, there was like a social media thing on Twitter. This guy, Joey, he started saying, I'm going to do a top 10, who's the most popular punks every week. And he did it for 13 weeks. And I got more votes than everybody. So it was like, the first time I won it, the first week I won it, it was like, all right, well, I've been elected the president of the punks. I won the vote this week. Like I'm the president of the CryptoPunks. I won it again. And it was like, damn, okay, this is crazy. Like I'm the people's punk. And then when I won it the third and final time, and I had the highest score out of everybody, I had the most votes of everybody, and I didn't have the biggest following. At that time, I didn't have like tens of thousands of followers, but I just had passionate followers. And it was like, man, when I won it the third time, like obviously, like I graduated. You can't, like a president can't be reelected 3 times, so obviously now I'm the king of punks. Like that's what it has to be. Like I didn't say it, the people said it, and that's how it happened.
Damn, no. I love that. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, that sounds like a perfect little scenario. I mean, sounds like you're the king of punks to me, the people's punk. And now you're what, 5388.eth? You're now the king of domains. You're taking over other things. What's happening there?
Well, 5528 is my original CryptoPunk number. I bought 5528.eth. We'll see how that goes. I have mixed feelings about the whole number thing with ENS and everything, but I went ahead and bought it. It's really just a flex. I feel kind of dumb actually, because it's like I spent 10 grand just to have this domain. Like I can't really sell it, unless I sell it. Like I guess if like 20 years from now, when I'm all done, and I want to just retire and I want to sell my punk and I want to sell that with it, that's when it'll come back to pay dividends. But I also just bought 2 more punks literally yesterday, actually. Like there was another punk. It's like identical to 5528, but it's got the purple cap instead of the regular cap. And it was sitting around the floor for weeks or maybe months. And I've been eyeing it, checking on it like every day. And the price of ETH went down to where it was like, man, I think I should just buy this. I ended up selling a mega coda because I minted a mega coda, which is crazy. And then I bought that purple hatted Spottie. That's CryptoPunk 577. And then bought another CryptoPunk, a lady punk, that I also saw on the floor. I had no plans of buying that one, but it was just like one of the dopest female punks I've seen. And I just happened to see it after I sold my mega coda yesterday.
Yo, I like that you're super transparent about not only your purchases, but like, the money. And even in the beginning, you said how much you bought it for, the 44,000. You're totally transparent about that. I think that's something that needs to happen more in this space, just more like genuineness, being transparent about what you're doing. And the fact that you're like, yeah, I sold my mega coda. I minted that. I got my 3 punks now. Do you have 3 total now, or do you have more than that?
Yeah, 3 CryptoPunks.
3 total. Okay. And I believe you have your wife on Twitter too, correct? Does she have a CryptoPunk?
She's using that crypto punk. Like we're building a brand with her. You know, I'm Spottie Wi-Fi, she's Spottie Wifey. You know, we got hot sauces coming out soon. You know, she's working on some different things, you know, in the kitchen. So that's why we need it. That's why another reason why when I saw this lady punk on the floor yesterday or near the floor, and it was like a beautiful punk, like it was perfect for my wife too. It's got the dark hair, purple lipstick. And that's like her, just, you know, stylish, dark hair. And then it's got the nerdy glasses. It was like, oh, yeah, that's my wife for sure. So, yeah, we're going to do some fun stuff with that, too, and be building her brand with that.
Hell yeah, man. I love to hear that. So, and now I get to jump into the good part of all of this. I want to ask, you know, you've built this platform, like I said earlier. You have, you know, a decent amount of followers on Twitter. Other platforms, I'm sure you have them there. But here recently, we've seen you pop up and you've been bullying people like myself. You know, I'm a cool cat. We saw you bully the doodles around. I wanted to kind of talk on that. You know, what really prompted you to not really, I mean, call it throw shots if you want, but for you to get on Twitter and kind of use your platform and direct it at projects like Cool Cats and Doodles and say the things that you did say and stuff like that?
Well, all right. There's two perspectives here. You know, I'm in a unique position because I'm a creator and I'm a collector. Okay. Like I know what it's like to be an indie artist, a smaller artist, and sell a collection and feel a duty to my collectors. You know, like I have a certain standard that I have for the value that I'm going to deliver to my collectors and the communication that I'm going to deliver to my collectors. So then as a collector, I also have expectations of the projects that I'm into, right? Like I have a certain standard that I expect from them. If I'm in your NFT collection, I have expectations in terms of like what value are you going to deliver to me and what communication are you going to deliver to me? Just like I hold myself to a standard, I hold everybody that if I'm in your NFT collection, it's a gift and a curse because I have expectations, you know. With the Cool Cats was a touched a nerve for me because my wife, I don't even own a Cool Cat. My wife owns a Cool Cat. That was the first NFT that she bought. She bought that out of her money, right? And it was the first NFT she ever bought. She paid 7 or 8 ETH for it. It was basically, she spent like $35,000 at that time with where the price of ETH was.
35,000 or 3,500?
Nah, bro. She spent like 30 or 35,000, you know? So like, I guess ETH must have been at like 4K. That must have been what it was. I don't remember the exact numbers, but she spent a grip, bro. She spent a lot of money on this Cool Cat. It was her first NFT. She was super excited about it. You know, it's super cute. This is going to be like family friendly. There's a ton that they're going to do with the IP. You know, all these other NFT collections might not be as family friendly. It was a cool angle that she bought into. And to then see them, you know, they did a launch. What was it? The Cool Pets, and they had to pause it. It didn't go well. They had some technical difficulties. I get that. Look, it's okay. Technical difficulties are going to happen. Challenges are going to happen. You know, speed bumps, roadblocks. It will happen. What pissed me off was they weren't communicating. You would go to their website and you had no indication that the mint was paused. It looked like you could just keep minting. And it had been like that for weeks and weeks and weeks. You heard pretty much radio silence about, you know, nobody talking about what are the updates, what's going on, how are they going to fix this? They would do town halls once in a while, but they only did it in the Discord. You know, they wouldn't do anything in Twitter Spaces. They wouldn't talk about the summary of the meetings, the town halls on Twitter. And to me, it's like, look, people hate Discord. How are you going to, and people have lives, you know what I mean? People have real lives. Like my wife works in medicine, you know, like I just saw things through her lens. I saw things through her lens when it was her money. And it's like, you know, she doesn't have time to be going through Discord for one project, let alone you have people that are in several projects and we need some of these projects to step up and have standards of like, we're going to use our best ability to communicate and keep people updated with what's going on. That's really all it was, It's like, yo, okay, the game launched, the Cool Cats game launched. It wasn't a hit. I get it. That happens. You try stuff, you learn and you keep trying, But the bare minimum is you need to communicate. And I saw that other Cool Cats had the same frustration as me, but they were tiptoeing around it. Everybody is so concerned about like, what is somebody going to think? Am I going to piss off the founders? Am I going to be like ostracized at the next meetup? I don't give a damn about your meetup. Like, we spent $35,000 on this picture and you can't even get on Twitter and tell me what's going on with your product that's failing. Like, that's unacceptable. And I'll say it if nobody else wants to say it. With the doodles, it's a similar story. Like, how are you going to not, you're a supposedly blue chip collection, or you used to be, and you make a bunch of announcements acting like it's a big deal at NFT NYC, and then you just ghost Twitter for 2 months. What else am I supposed to call it? You go like, what else do you call not tweeting as an NFT project for 50 days? Is there something else I'm supposed to call it other than you ghosted Twitter? Like, what are you hiding from? Even they did it. They did a Twitter space the other night, and it wasn't even like. I'm glad that they started to communicate, but like they didn't have any good answers. They didn't have any good answers to these questions. Oh, we only have 11 employees. Wait, how many employees do you need to log into Twitter and tweet GM and remind people that you're working and that you're there? You only have 11 employees. That sounds like plenty of employees. I got. How many employees? You think I got 11 employees? No. Like, what, it's just no excuse for some of these things. And then, I commend the Cool Cats community, though, because, the Good Night on Twitter, the Good Night, he took what I was saying and he helped me translate it. He played the good cop while I was the bad cop, and we actually saw action come out of that. You see the Cool Cats, they started to do like more stuff on Twitter summarizing what was being talked about in Discord. They appointed a community council, to get community feedback and, just really have better dialogue with the holders and stuff like that. So like I can point and I could say cause and effect. We spoke up and we got something out of it. And that's what you should have in a community. With the doodles, it remains to be seen. They did an hour-long Twitter space. We'll see what really happens. They need to hire a social media manager. I think they need to address they have a limit on how much merchandise you can sell with your doodle on it of $100,000. I think that's just plain stupid and arrogant on their part. I think hopefully they'll correct that. But the doodles are more of like a Web 2 company in my estimation. They made a bunch of money from their collectors, and now they're going to operate as a Web 2 company and kind of not follow the blueprint of the Bored Ape Yacht Club, and we'll see how it goes. I still have I don't think I'll be selling my doodle anytime soon, so I hope they do well.
So I do want to also ask for those that did or did not see, they threw a pretty sharp, I don't know if I would say it was an allegation. They threw a pretty sharp thing at you on Twitter and tried to say that you said some false things about them. Do you want to by any means clear that up? Because from what I saw, I don't believe you said anything incorrect. You were just more or less tweeting out what was already out there. If you know what I'm speaking on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what you're speaking on. I went on a Twitter Spaces that's hosted by some doodles, not the founders. It's not the founders. It's not the official company or anything like that. Just some community members. I went on their Twitter Spaces, and they were asking me to talk about, what was going on. I explained my issues with the doodles. We were all in agreement that everything I was saying was legit. And this is recorded. You can go listen to it. And then at the very end, and I had to go because I was late to another Twitter space. At the very end, somebody said that like I had made up a story about the CEO of Doodles having some allegations against him. And I didn't make up any stories about the CEO of the Doodles having some allegations against them. What I did was I Googled to see who the new Doodle CEO is, because they appointed a new CEO, I think, in May. He used to work at Billboard. He used to be some big shot at Billboard. And as I was researching him, I tweeted a screenshot from a news article from Variety.com. And all it said is that there were complaints made against him. The article is about, what do you call it? The article is about like harassment in the workplace, basically at Billboard, and allegations of harassment. And it just says that there were complaints made against this guy. It didn't say what the complaints were. It didn't accuse him of anything. Definitely nothing physical or anything like that. But this person on Twitter Spaces, you know, obviously they had some reading comprehension issues. And when they read the article that I screenshotted, in their mind, they jumped to a worst case scenario of like, oh my God, Spottie's saying that this person did this. It's like, no, that's coming out of your mouth. It's just reading comprehension. You know, the Doodles have a very passionate following, but I unfortunately, I fear that they have a following that is very susceptible to getting ripped off and jerked around because, you know, I don't know if the Doodles have the brightest, you know, bulbs in the box in terms of their collectors. And unfortunately, I think the Doodles is exploiting a lot of them. And I think this individual was one, you know, he fit that description.
I do want to say that, and for those listening to this episode, I definitely asked Spottie beforehand if I could ask questions like this. I'm not blindsiding him and just like, ha, I got you. So I do want you all to know that. But I do greatly appreciate you for speaking on just what's been currently happening. I know some people see it. They might think one thing and not get the full picture. So I just kind of wanted you to speak on it for a second. And another thing that I wanted to ask you about is,
hey, wait, sorry, my bad, Sniper. My
go
bad.
Ahead.
Let me say one more thing on this, by the way.
Absolutely.
If you listen to that audio, it's indefensible. The audio of that Twitter Spaces where this person was making up, putting words in my mouth, it is indefensible. The words that he made up and said were coming from me. And he doubled down on it. He doubled down on it in that conversation. He doubled down on it the next day. You know, I've had people threaten me people from the Doodles. You know, I've had people say, oh, I'm going to run up on you when I see you in Vegas, which, by the way, I'll be in Vegas October 10th through 13th. I'm performing the night of the 10th. I'm performing the night of the 12th at Area 15. Come through. If you need tickets, just DM me. I'll make sure anybody listening to this gets in there because they're not going to do nothing. But it's just, I honestly think that if you look at how the Cool Cats community responded to my feedback, they responded constructively. The Doodles community, I will say this. I'm not going to comment any more on the average intelligence of the Doodles community, but there definitely is some toxicity in that community. There's definitely some toxicity that is tolerated, promoted. Those threats against me are probably still live in their Discord. They don't have any kind of moderator. And that's why the CEO thing is relevant. You know, when you have a culture issue, when you have a toxic community, you have to start to see, okay, who's in charge here? And that's why it's very meta of like how a simple observation about their CEO turned into false allegations, turned into threats of violence and all this stuff. And it's like, man, what's really going on here? We got to correct this culture, but that's not going to happen if the founders are too proud to log on Twitter every once in a while and help steer the narrative and steer the dialogue, you know?
I do want to say, too, it was really, really different to see the reactions from the communities. You know, me being a cool cat, you know, I saw you tweet the things you did, how we reacted, and then how the Doodles reacted. It was a bit surprising, and I really do applaud people like The Good Night, Hawkward, the ones that are like really going hard for the Cool Cats because of the genuineness of their heart. You know, they're not doing it expecting nothing back. I know The Good Night did not do Spaces expecting to be on a council at some time or expecting them to do anything for him. He just genuinely did that. And he does a really good job of playing the good cop and really helping, I guess, translate what we're trying to say as a community to the team. And I'm really glad we have him. And I'm very happy that the Cool Cats in general have been working on their communication, because that's the major one thing that I've said from day one. If I had to say anything negative about the Cool Cats, because I love them so much, I'm very transparent. The communication absolutely shot them in the foot. It fucked them over a lot. And I do feel like in the long run, they'll learn from what they've done. But will it take a while? I do think so. So, I mean, I appreciate you talking on the Cool Cats. I'm glad that you don't hate us. You know, I don't feel bullied no more. But
No, it's all love, bro. It's all love. I want us all to win, you know.
Yeah.
Otherwise we would have sold our Cool Cat. I would have sold my doodle and just said, you know, the end with it. But no, man, like if I'm taking time to give feedback, that's because I care, to be honest. I was really excited for my wife getting her Cool Cat. I was really excited for my doodle, bro. I had a whole character. My doodle was going to be a character in my comic book. I was going to make music with him. I might still, but it's just like I don't buy NFTs just to let them sit in my wallet. You know, I buy NFTs usually because I have an idea for them, a plan for how I'm going to use the IP. But you need the brand to do its part too, you know?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And you got to feel comfortable with that brand. I mean, I still feel like I'm in a position with my Cool Cat to where I use it for the podcast and stuff, but I don't know what it would be like if I had something different, or if, let's just say, Cool Cats were to absolutely fuck everything up. I don't know how I would react. I do want to ask you though, what is up with the tweeting in capital letters? We have to have an explanation behind that, because you are the king of it, and I feel like you're really good at these. I don't know if I would call them PR stunts, but marketing, whatever it is, you're very, very good at it. And whether it's positive, negative, it gets the people talking. People notice it. So I wanted to know where that origin came from.
You know, I started. It was inspired by a Chicago rapper named Show You Suck. Who's a friend of mine. You know, I made music with him years ago, and he tweets in all caps. And I always just thought it was like funny, because you read his tweets, he'll be tweeting about like pizza or something, and it's in all caps, you know, and it's just like, man, this dude is intense about his pizza or whatever. And when I won that Twitter competition that I was telling you about, and for the third time, and I said, okay, I'm the king of punks, that's when I immediately started tweeting in all caps, because it was just like, I'm the king, you know, like a king doesn't just make a tweet. A king makes like a proclamation. You know, you need like a scroll, you need some horns, and, you know, you need a parade. And that's what I'm bringing in terms of the energy with the all caps. And I'm glad I did it. You know, sometimes I wish I never doxed, because I doxed at NFT NYC last year after I sold my album. And anybody that was around that was following me before then, it was really funny. It was just really interesting, I think, when I was not doxed and all you knew is there's this character, you know? And I felt like I had a different ability to use my voice after I doxed. Then it's like, okay, people know who you are. You know, you got to reel it in a little bit, you know? But just tweeting in all caps, to me, that's like, it lets people know, like, this is Spottie talking. This is the Spottie voice. Remember, I'm a real person, of course, but I say things as Spottie sometimes in a different way, because Spottie is a character, basically.
Okay. And I've always wondered that myself. You know, I've seen it happen. But like I said, it's just, I feel like that's part of who Spottie is, you know, the capital tweeting, the being the voice, kind of the voice of reason of Web3 and NFTs, regardless like kind of what project it is. We saw that with Cool Cat Doodles, and you're very passionate about it. Where did the King's Alpha come from? You know, I've seen that time and time again. It's becoming a pretty damn funny meme that I've seen people just randomly be like, is this the King's Alpha? I need the King's Alpha. Right. I saw a picture of like SpongeBob opening up the Oh Reliable case, and it was like King's Alpha. You know what I'm saying? So where did this come from? You know, why is it your thing? And where do you get these ideas? You know, do these just pop up on you? Like you said, you saw your friend tweet in capitalization, so you were like, I like that. You know, maybe I'll try that. Or you're just like, yo, I'm a marketing genius, and this is just what I do.
You know, the capitalized letters thing, like that was very inspired by this one artist that I'm a fan of. But sometimes, you know, I just feel like Spottie is like a pro wrestler. You know, sometimes when I'm talking as Spottie, you know, when I'm tweeting as Spottie, it's like every rap. I mean, a lot of like rap is like pro wrestling too, but just the bravado and just there's something really powerful. I love words, you know, like I love the power of words. If if you can get people, if you can use something like the King's Alpha, if people start to repeat that back, man, that's like very powerful, you know? So I just like trying new things. And that's just one of those little phrases that stuck, you know, at one point. But it kind of is like what I was telling you, like when I say like a king doesn't just tweet, a king makes a proclamation. That's what is, you know, that's what that stamp. When I say, if I make a statement and then I say, this is the King's Alpha, that's just reminding you like, this is official, you know, you could take this to the bank. But we're just having fun with it, man. It's just, it's fun to see people pick up on little phrases, or like whenever I ask a question, I'll usually say like, you know, like I'll say like, what's the temperature outside? I need answers. You know, I got to let people know, like, I need answers. Like just reminding them, like, I need this and I need it now. You know what I mean? I'm the king. The king doesn't wait. The king doesn't have time to wait. So it's just fun and just being in character.
I think, and before I hop over to the 5 questions of the end, I want to really highlight that this interview was also a big thing on that you're an actual person beyond the CryptoPunk, beyond the yelling, beyond the doodles, the cool cats, but beyond the CryptoPunk, all of that. You are a genuine person, and all your madness has a reasoning behind it. I think you're great at marketing. I think you're a great businessman, and people don't have to like you as a rapper, but I feel like as a person, you're not what some of these people make you out to be. And that's really what I wanted to highlight, that you're a great person. I feel like from what I've seen, from what I've spoke with you, you're very respectful. You're very humble. Do you joke around about things? Absolutely. But what would this space be without, you know, a little fun? You know, if we were serious all the time, this would be a pretty ass space. You know what I'm saying? So I like the fact that we get this side of you. We get some of the explanations, and that this whole cool, or even the cool cats, the doodles thing, that's not out of any ill will or any hate in your heart. That's because you're so passionate about it. You even were transparent and said, hey, I still own a doodle. If I hated them, I would have been done dumped it. I would have sold it on the pump the other day. You know, you're in the spaces with other doodles communicating what your problem is. You're not just tweeting something and then hiding and being like, oh, no, I didn't say that. You know, so I really do applaud that. I do respect that. And I do respect that you're trying to be a voice for not only yourself, but you're using your platform of being a rapper, an entrepreneur, an artist in this space, and allowing other people to get their voice heard, regardless if it's a CryptoPunk, Cool Cat, World of Women, Roboto, don't matter. You're like, hey, I'm down for all of us to be equal. I really love that about you, man. Do you care if we jump over into the 5 questions? Before we do, I wanted to ask you, is there anybody that you wanted to thank, or is there any project? Actually, let me ask you this. Is there any influencer that you do enjoy, or is there any projects that you do genuinely enjoy and like the way that they navigate this space? Because I don't want to just highlight what you've said about Cool Cats or Doodles. I want to know what you do see in this space that you're like, damn, they're doing a good job.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Before I jump to the positive, let me just also remind people, I don't just call out projects that I own. You know, I don't just talk about my own bags, and I definitely don't just do it for engagement. Remember, last year, a lot of people don't even know this. Artifact, which I own, I do own those smaller NFT of theirs that I got airdropped, I think. But Artifact, you know, they tried to sell an unauthorized Kobe NFT at Christie's. And I made a stink about it, bro. This might have been the first time that I really like lit a fire, and they had to pull the whole auction. Christie's had to pull the auction, you know. I've called out a lot of music projects, a lot of like predatory music projects coming out, trying to get artists to sign bad deals so that they can sell NFTs off their backs. There was one called Speakerheads. I was last summer in Twitter Spaces grilling the team, asking them to break down the pie chart in their pitch deck and all this stuff. And they were talking slick and talking around people. I had other artists on stage, on Spaces, defending them because they had signed bad deals with them and trying to say that I was just like clout chasing or whatever. Months later, you start to see the tweets. Hey, Spottie was right. They never paid me, this or that, you know? So like that's why I'm the people's punk, because the people know I am not married to my bags, and I don't have an agenda. I don't have any secret wallets. If I see something that doesn't sit right with me, if I decide to say something on it, it's because I'm speaking from the heart, And as I said many times, I'm not always right, but I'm always real. That's what I can guarantee to you. I might make mistakes, but when I've called out projects so far, I'm undefeated, bro. Like, I've never been wrong about any of this shit. And that's because I'm a collector and I'm a creator. So I see both perspectives. In terms of the glass half full, projects that I'm excited about, man. I'm getting more excited about the Cool Cats. I think a lot of the things they're doing shows me that they really took the feedback to heart. I love the Gutter Cats, of course, sticking in the feline category. I think the Gutter Cats is a great collection for people that are new to the space, that don't have thousands of dollars to spend. They have the clones, which is one of their collections that you can buy into for a few $100s. Man, let's see. I am super excited about a lot of the musical artists. There's artists like Sammy Arriaga, who's done amazing things. He's definitely had more success selling music NFTs than I have. There's an artist named Violetta. There's Illa the producer with what he's doing with Hoo Hoo's Treehouse. Like, a lot of projects that I'm proud to say, like, I think I helped establish a blueprint for different ways that artists can create like NFT drops with rarity traits and doing interesting things with copyrights and things like that. And I'm bullish on all those people that are kind of continuing to innovate. I know there's other projects that I'm not thinking of, but I'll say, of course, I'm bullish on the Yuga collections, the CryptoPunks, the Bored Apes, the Other Side, Meebits. If you have a few $1,000s, but not tens of $1,000s, you could probably look at a Meebit, and that's an interesting one that I'm really bullish on. And then in terms of influencers, man, there's a lot of people, just a couple, but a couple that I want to name is like my guy Crypto Novo 311 on Twitter.
He's a punk, right?
Yeah, he's a punk. He introduced me to the world of punks. We were both into Top Shot early last year, and he had 8 CryptoPunks that he purchased in 2020. So he helped me even figure out how to shop for a CryptoPunk. Like, literally took me through the website. My guy G Money. G Money is another CryptoPunk that's done a lot of cool stuff, partnerships with Adidas, partnerships with Gucci, all building his whole digital identity as his punk. My guy Justin Aversano, now I'm just pumping my bags, but he's a dope photographer. My guy Drift, from Drifter Shoots. I'm definitely bullish on photography in the NFT space. And all of these people are building, you know what I mean? These people are building and doing work that I think is going to stand the test of time. And that's what I love. No,
absolutely. And they're all punks. Absolutely too. It's funny because
is that true? Yeah, that's true.
That is very true. That is very true. Aversano is a great guy. I was like 3,000 followers into Twitter, just launched my podcast, and he followed me, and I was like freaking the hell out. For those that don't know, Aversano is, I think, the highest collection in NFTs, like the highest floor in NFTs. He's done very good things with Twin Flames. He's one of the most talented photographers. And I know that there's some very good ones out there that are not punks. I do want to ask you though, Spottie, because I know you're a man of the people. I know you might answer it. Is there any influencers you don't like, bro? Can you throw a shot or two? Like, is there anybody you don't like, or are you cool with everybody, man? You keeping it even playing field? No,
I'm not cool with everybody, but I don't want to give them any attention. I just don't want to.
I respect that.
For playing me, they shall forever remain nameless. But no, I mean, look, I definitely have haters. Like, if you're ever bored, go on Twitter and just search things like put the word Spottie and then put the word gimmick. Go in Discord, go to the CryptoPunks Discord and search Spottie. The salt is all around you. You just got to know where to look. But yes, it's a lot of people. It's just funny now because look at what happens now. During a bull market, everybody looks like a genius. Everybody looks like a genius during a bull market. Everybody's having the time of their life. What happens in a bear market is you have a lot of people that they're just influencers. You know what I mean? Like all they do, they don't create content like you're creating. They don't take the time. They just hop on Twitter and they shitpost, and those people don't know what to do during a bear market because they were never bringing any value to begin with, So now it's like a bear market is a great time if you're a builder. But if you don't know how to build, then sometimes all you can do is resort to tearing other people down. Those are the people that I see hating on me now. And it's not worth it even giving them any attention, because there's a difference between feedback and hate. You know what I mean? And I get enough love to where it's no sense in even focusing on the hate.
I like that, man. That's a real respectful answer. I really do like that. And the thing about that is, you know, there's been a lot of people in this space that claim that they're this and they're that. But I think the bear market has shown the true builders in this space, these influencers. I mean, it ain't nothing to buy a blue check nowadays. It ain't nothing to buy a couple 100,000 followers. I mean, that stuff's cool and all, but if you're actually building something, like you said, all you need is a loyal fan base. You did it with 700 people. And I believe that's where, and I even wrote this down that we didn't speak on very much, but you did how much money in like 90 seconds, 60 seconds?
It was 200 grand, you know,
200 grand in 60 seconds.
Yep. With 700 collectors, you know. So that's the power of like going direct to your fans and being able to cut out the middlemen. You know, that just shows you how much the record labels take, the publishers take, Spotify takes, because those are all the middlemen, you know.
Absolutely. And I want to be respectful of your time, man. We're coming up on the hour mark, so I'll try to run through these 5 questions kind of quickly. But number 1 is going to be, I feel like I know the answer, but what is the most important thing in your life? It don't have to be Web3, you know. What's the most important thing to you?
Oh man, well, I just got married, you know, April 30th. So Spottie Wifi, man, that's a life-changing thing. You know, that's family first. And just thinking about our future together now, you know, it's bigger than me. And that's number 1 right now. And hopefully we'll be starting a family, you know.
Absolutely, man. Congratulations on your marriage. That is absolutely amazing to hear. I can't wait to see what you and Spottie Wifi build together. Hopefully we see a baby Spottie before too long.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? But that is great news, man. I'm very happy to hear that. And much love to that. Number 2 would be, what is an obstacle that you have overcome that has helped you get to where you are today, whether it's Web3 or just life in general? Don't have to be a big obstacle. It could be, I stubbed my toe, now I'm good. But what is something you would say that you were like, damn, I'm glad I went through that, or I'm glad that I got to overcome that and now I'm here?
I think just overcoming other people's expectations. You know, when I was young, I was like gripped by the fear of like disappointing my parents, you know, like I have immigrant parents, and just thinking that I needed to have a certain career or live a certain lifestyle, or, you know, go to a certain church, things like that, you know. Or especially now, like, you know, our generation, there are older generations that they were like checking certain boxes of success. You know, by this age, you're supposed to be married. By this age, you're supposed to have a kid. By this age, you're supposed to have a house. By this age, you're supposed to have this much savings. And we're playing by totally different rules, even just in terms of generations and economy and the cards that we've been dealt, you know. So I think that's just the general theme of things that I feel like I've overcome, is just overcoming expectations from outside and just realizing that you only get one life. So you really just have to make yourself happy, you know, pursue what makes you happy, and do it with, you know, all your energy. And I'm grateful that that's, you know, it took a long winding road. Like if I was worried about other people's expectations, there would have been many times where I thought of myself as a failure, you know, but thankfully I took a long winding road to now being in a position that I would have dreamed of, you know, years ago. And now I think I appreciate it that much more because it didn't come easily.
Absolutely. I love that answer, man. Number 3, and I'm not talking on these too long because I do want to run through them. Number 3, when Spottie Wifi leaves the house, and I'm going to say maybe going to a function or you're going camping, You're just going out to a non-normal place. What are at least 3 necessities that you have to bring with you? And this isn't including like a car, keys, and phone. That's obvious. Is there any 3 things that you maybe keep with you? One person said, I keep a razor blade. Some people keep toothpicks. Is there anything specific that you keep on the body?
Man, I don't. That's a tough one, bro. I don't know. Of course, phone, keys, wallet.
Yep.
Besides that, I gotta have some cheetah print. I always got, whether it's the sneakers, or some clothes, is a hat, whatever. I gotta have some spots on me. So that's number one. I gotta have some stickers on me. I don't leave the house without the stickers, bro. I take them everywhere, like Visa. Man, what else? One other thing that I gotta have with me. Shoot, I think that's really it, bro. Just the spots and the stickers. Maybe it would be smart if I had a phone charger, because I'm like always on red, bro. That's the one I should probably add.
There we go. No, that's perfect. And I want y'all to know that for those that can't see this and you're just listening, Spottie literally just pulled up a sticker, and he does have them on deck at all times. So always. That's amazing. Number 4 would be, what is one thing that Spottie Wi-Fi wants to do before he gets too old?
Well, I wanna travel the world with my wife. I've been very fortunate to travel a lot in my 20s, and my wife, she was working hard in her 20s. I used to jump around from job to job, like every year get a new job, take a couple months off in between, run up the credit cards. My wife has lived a much more responsible life than me. And I want to take her around, take her to see some of the things I've seen, take her to the Mediterranean, take her on safari, take her to, South America, different things like that.
No, that's a beautiful answer, man. I think the way that you carry yourself and the love that you get, I think you'll make that happen one day. No problem. And you might even have a little baby Spottie alongside y'all, just vibing next to the ocean. So that'll be sick, man. And I can't wait for that day to come. My last question would have to be, and it's crazy because, I made these about a couple months ago, so this question was more relevant then. But if I gave you 200 Ethereum and it had to be spent on NFTs, what are some big purchases and plays that you would make right now, and you can't keep any of the access Ethereum?
Okay. Well, I just bought a couple CryptoPunks, so I won't say CryptoPunks, but you already know how I feel about the CryptoPunks. If I didn't have a CryptoPunk, but I had 200 ETH, I would definitely grab one. I would look at some art blocks. Like I don't have any chromie squiggles, and I definitely wish I did. And I would look at I might look at like a Fidenza. Those are heavy. That's a heavy bag. You gotta drop for a Fidenza. That'll take at least half of that 200. You could also look at I can't think of the name right now. Oh man, I can't think of the name. It's the other project from Larva Labs. This is such a name I should know, but I'll have to think of it. But otherwise, I would say, man, I'll definitely have to pick up some other deeds, some virtual land on the other side. And I would do some true artists, I would do some photography one of ones. I would look at some other artists that do one of ones. And man, as conflicted as I feel, as much as I wonder, is this the right call? I'll probably sweep some ENS domains as well. I'll probably take a few ETH and just go ham on like 5-digit ENS domains, run up a couple hundred 5-digit ENS domains, something like that. I'm sure there's other stuff I'm forgetting. Meebits. I'll buy a few Meebits. I think they're undervalued. It's a lot of opportunity, but I would definitely steer toward blue chips at this point. If I had that kind of a budget, I would definitely steer toward the ones that are considered historical or blue chip, and just give it time and be patient and see where they go in the next couple of years.
As much as it pains me to say, I sold 4005.eth for like 1 ETH like 2 months ago. I sold like,
damn,
dude, I had like 5 4-digit names. I'll never forget. It was, dude, Daniel got hits was right. I will say nobody can knock him. He was 100% right on ENS names. I remember checking ENS Vision, dude, the whole 4-digit, like everything was there. It was all mintable. I minted 3, 4. I was like, damn, There's a lot available. And then the next morning, every single one of them was gone. Every single number was gone. And I was like,
right,
wow, I might have got a decent set of 4 numbers. Sold them at like 0.4, really thought I hit big. And then it really came in and they were hitting like 1, 2, 3 ETH. I was like, wow, I fumbled the bag. Safe to say now I own 50 ENS names.
Nice.
All different numbers. I mean, I have Hamtaro, Roaches, all different kind of things. So I'm on you with that one. But Spottie, that was my 5 questions. I do want to say that, it's been about an hour, 10 minutes, and I just want to be respectful of your time, but I can't thank you enough for doing this episode, speaking on all the topics, being totally transparent. And I hope that if anybody is listening, that they learn that there, like I said, is a madness behind your creation. You are actually a humble guy. You are very passionate about not only Web3, but other people, other projects, and you do genuinely care. So I think that's a super dope thing about you that not a lot of people see. And for all the haters out there, we ain't showing them no attention. But I got nothing but love for you, man, and I like what you're doing in the space. So thank you, and hopefully a couple months down the line, we can come back and we will do another episode, and we'll talk about the more success that you've had.
That's a bet, bro. Thank you for having me, man. I love the show, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely, bro. Stick around for a couple of seconds after I end this just so I can keep it. And for everyone listening in, I can't thank you enough. I just want to give a big shout out to my buddy Red Sox guy. I have signed with Non-Refungible Network. Hopefully we can get the podcast some more looks and do some things with that. And the 1-year anniversary is coming up in November. So I just want to say everyone that is listening, thank you from the bottom of my heart just for the kind words during my health and just during all this. So thank you again, Spottie. We will be seeing you next week. We got Swicky, we got Syke from Deadfellas, Will from Littles. We got some great people coming on. So we will see you again next week, and we'll hop back on this weekly. Everyone have a great day, and we will see you again shortly. Y'all have a great one. Peace out.